Hey, today I want to talk about conscious planet, meaning a planet where hold on, we all we all finally get along. You know, we all see each other as separate from one another. As the famous comedian Bill Hicks said, "How are we going to keep building nuclear weapons when we realize we're all one?" But like, I think it's a very good exercise in Steve Pavlina's book, Personal Development for Smart People. It's about it's like imagining a world where we all act as if we're one consciousness, and we resolve our problems and disagreements more consciously than we do now. It's a very interesting concept. The whole idea stems from, I think, mostly unconditional love and compassion, empathy, gratitude, things like that, rather than the scarcity and the fear and other negative emotions that run the world today. I'm trying to stay quiet today, so but I think it's interesting. And I feel that if people were more conscious, I think it would be a lot easier to run a world of peace. We weren't fighting each other, no wars, no famine, no. I mean, this is the exact problem we have is today's world. We have people going hungry in a world of plenty. You know, we have wars based on lies. We have mainstream media lying to us. We have this lying to us, that lying to us. And another great quote is, "What if everything you ever knew was a lie?" And I think that's what we're dealing with. We need to bring back truth to the world rather than a thin veneer of lies and illusion. And another thing that would help is to connect through the heart instead of the head and the gut, because the heart has the intuitive knowing that is literally impossible to get anywhere else. The head thinks it out, works it out, and it can work sometimes. And the gut is basically reactionary. But if the head and heart are working together, especially the central nervous system, your body goes into a state called coherence, as the Institute for Heart Math says, which literally can lead you beyond the bounds of time and space, which is pretty interesting. Not sure how to get there yet, but I believe that at one point in our history, probably before what is known as the Great Flood, which happened probably, I don't know, 6,000 years ago, 10,000, I don't know how many years ago, but it's in all the ancient texts. It's not just in the Bible. There was a Great Flood, and it I speculate that before it happened, we were a heart-based society where, as most would put it, we were in this world, but we were not of it. We knew we were the infinite awareness, or infinite I, infinite consciousness, infinite possibility, infinite awareness. We knew that. But when we saw this world for what it was, an illusion, and a temporary experience, we are all just passengers passing through, or as one philosopher said, I forget his name, but And the way to move out of this fear-based world and into a more heart-centered world, more third eye, heart-centered world, where we see the world as a more of just an experience, not who we are. I think that would be one of the keys to um, changing the world to the point where we no longer have, well, we'll still have issues, of course, but we won't have the same issue. We won't have issues based on fear. We'll have issues based on just beliefs, I guess. And when I say we're all infinite consciousness, we're also infinite possibility, which means we're all infinite different expressions of this one consciousness. We're not all the same. Like I'm infinite consciousness, I'm infinite consciousness. No, we're all separate. Not separate. We're all the same, but we're all different expressions of this one consciousness. And I think if we all knew that at our core, the world would be an entirely different place. We all just loved each other instead of being divided and ruled by race, gender, whatever. You know, stupid things that people manipulate into us. That because someone's skin color is different or the belief system is different, we cannot get along with them. Some people, at least. It's we should not be manipulated by those kinds of social programs because in the end we're all the same. We're all one consciousness, and that's as bad as it gets. That is as bad as it gets. We're all infinite awareness, having an experience. So it's not like anything can truly harm us. We're all infinite beings. So there's no need to worry about things and fear things because we are literally the entire world because everything is conscious. Rocks are conscious. Windows are conscious. Bookcases are conscious to a different degree, but they're all conscious. There is nothing unconscious about matter. Because matter is made of energy, and energy is holographic, and so on and so forth. I just think that the world would be such a better place if we came from the perspective of I am love, I am infinite consciousness, infinite love, rather than I am my body, I am my religion, I am my race, I am my this, I am my that. It's a religion of I am my, and that is just so limiting, which is why we need to try and come from the heart, come from the infinite, the infinite knowing, the infinite consciousness, because without doing that, we will always be at war with each other. So always see ourselves as separate from one another, which I say is a form of violence. And because if you always see things as apart from you, it's always going to possibly be a threat to you. Whereas if you see everyone and everything as one, and us as infinite beings, there's no need to ever fear anyone or fear anything. Because you realize this is just an experience, number one. Number two, everyone in your life is a part of you, and you are a part of them. So it's no longer any need for fear. And the removal of fear from this planet would create a much more conscious, heart-centered, loving, wonderful place to live. They talk about it in ancient texts about how the world was. Though they did burn most of them. As I said in the previous video, why are they hiding history? And I speculated that it's to keep us from knowing who we truly are. And this is who we truly are. We are infinite consciousness. We are infinite awareness. We are expressions of infinite awareness and having this experience. And I just believe that the world has immense potential for change. And if we just all would, and I mean, it has to reach a critical mass of people no longer identifying with, it's not the ego that's the problem, it's the total identification with it. It's the whole not thinking about other um, realms of being and ways of being. It's the whole trapped in the program mentality where get up, go to work, go home, eat, sleep, wake up, go to work. It's this vicious cycle. I think it was Don Juan Matus who said that most humans are trapped in a vicious cycle from which they rarely emerge. And rarely, but sometimes they do. And it is true. I mean, and the idea is to kind of break that cycle and to become less fearful and more thinking outside of the program that we've been programmed into by forces that are very, I guess there's a very fear-based sources and people who love to control other people and whatnot. Some of them are sinister, but the whole world has been set up to create as much fear as possible, it seems, which is why we must counter that fear with love and compassion, empathy, gratitude, all the positive emotions that, you know, will transform this world into the world that we really should be living in, a world where suffering is an illusion and we all just come from our heart. The reason I keep bringing up the heart is the woman that runs the Heart Institute for Heart Math, she did a technique where she had two chairs, and the first time she sat across from one of her patients, she's a therapist, and she said, "I want you to tell me your problem through your head." So the person would tell them the problem through their head. And then they'd switch chairs symbolically. And then she said, "I want you to tell me the problem through your heart." And she said it was like talking to two different people completely. And in a sense, she was talking to two different people, I guess, because the heart and the brain are two completely different points of perception, points of attention. So just goes to show that, as some people say, the heart just knows, the brain thinks. And the heart is your intuition, it really is. It's the biggest energy vortex on your body, too. So I think that it's definitely something we all need to start focusing on more, opening your heart, because the heart has been closed on most people. Like I'd say, probably 95% of people have a closed heart. And if we all just opened our hearts, I think the world would be just an amazing place, a more conscious planet. And I'm really hoping that more and more people do it, because I think it's very important to live even if this world is an illusion or whatever, at least it'll be, or just a ride, as Bill Hicks would say. At least we can change it to a better ride. And I think that would be worthwhile. All right, thank you for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.